Okay, in this video I'm going to show you a couple of different things. We're going to put a poster together. I'm going to do a really rubbish poster. It's not going to be anything mega. And I'm going to incorporate these two images. Let's see if I just go on preview just to show you these. So I'm going to have a picture of me being attacked by this thing. Okay. Now notice that both of these are embedded in pictures, so I'm going to show you how to cut out a shape by using a mask. Okay, and this is an advanced technique, so this is real good stuff. I'm going to show you one way of doing it. You can spend as much time as you want doing this, make it as detailed. You can use your union path techniques, you know, where you put multiple shapes together to do this, but I'm going to show you by just doing an outline and marking an outline. So we're going to use those two pictures. Okay, right, so first off, got Fireworks open. I'm going to create my poster template. So I'm going to create a new Fireworks document. It's going to be 21 centimeters wide and 29.7 centimeters tall and 300 pixels per inch. Now that's A4 dimensions, okay, and 300 because we're going to print it, so we want it to be high resolution, and that creates quite a big canvas, 33 megabytes. So we'll just create that and then leave it. You probably want to save that at some point. I'm going to leave mine just untitled. Right, now, so I need to load these two pictures up. So I'm going to open with Fireworks, load up the picture of me, scale it back, and I'm going to load the other one with Fireworks. Okay, so I'm going to cut this character out here and composite that in my poster here. Okay, so I'm going to call my product Cat and Mouse. It's some NAFO board game. I'm just going to do some quick text, so cat and mouse, even though I'm not a mouse or a cat, but it doesn't matter. So let's just make that text a lot bigger. So let's make it about 300. Oh no, a bit too big. Let's make it 240. Okay, so it's going to be cat and mouse. I ought to put the Awesome Graphics logo on here, but I've shown you how to do that on another video. Right, let's get to cutting out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in using Control Plus, and I'm going to use the pen tool, which is over here under the vector thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace an outline, just clicking the mouse all the way around what I want to cut out. Okay, first of all, so I'm going to click the pen. Down here I've got some settings. I want to, so I can see this, I'm going to select a funny colour that's not in the image, like bright green, and I'm going to make the pen size about 4. Don't worry about having a fill, so select transparent and you'll see the little paint bucket goes transparent. Right, the more accurate you do this, the better your results, so I'm going to have to do this quite quick. Okay, so I'm zooming in and I've got my pen active, and you can see the little pen icon. I'm going to start with my finger and I'm just going to click and join up, and I'm going to do it rough, remember. You can do this as fine as you want. If you zoom right in, you should be able to do quite clever detail. One thing I will say, if you're struggling with what's in the background, slightly select on top of the image you want to keep. Okay, so don't like click there. If you go wrong, just do undo and you can go back. Okay, so I've zoomed right in there and I'm trying to do it 2D, but I'm going to do it quicker. You spend a little bit more time and you'll get a better result when you do this. Right, so I'm just going to roughly cut this. So if you stay on the side of what you want to keep, you won't get any horrible like funny pixels from the background data. Okay, and I'm doing it too detailed, so I'm just going to roughen it up a bit. You can mess to your heart's content. Because you're doing it as a polygon shape, you can actually just save your document. You could use the mask tool, the cutout tool, that thing, but don't. You do it this way because it means you can edit things afterwards. Okay, so right, and you can use the scroll bars. Don't click, but go onto the scroll bars, and so you can scroll your image around, and that'll keep your lasso going. So let's speed this up a little bit. You're getting the idea. So I just want to complete this so you can see the next stage in the process. So as detailed as you can be for the best effect. So I don't want to see the Twilight Zone pinball in the background. I've got a funny shaped head. I'm going to be very polygonal. You can use the scroll wheel to scroll up and down on the mouse. I'm going to give myself a haircut while I'm at it. It doesn't do horizontal, which is a bit... Oh, now I've got a point I don't want, so I'm going to undo. You can see I'm using that green and I can see it. So I've got a funny haircut now. But you get the idea. Okay, probably some of the worst bits of your fingers. I'm not going to use all of my picture. I'm going to come across probably straight across there. So I'm going to make that a horizontal line. Remember, I can adjust all this afterwards. Okay, and I'll show you that. I'll make a mistake in a sec. So I'll accidentally do that. So I've cut it a bit too mank, but I'll show you how to edit that in a sec. Nearly done. So I'm trying to keep to the skin so I don't pick any background image up. Right, and there you should be able to see just that you get that little circle next to the pen. That means it's going to close the polygon, so it's made a full polygon. Okay, right, so I've made a mistake here. If you use the little white selector, the sub selection tool, and you click on one of the points that you think's wrong, you can move it around. If you want to add extra points, you can do that with the pen tool. So you'll see that it goes to a little plus. Move it so you can see that. You see, you get a little plus if you move it over the line, and you can say, right, well, I want to add another point there, and it'll add a new point. And then you can use the white sub select tool to drag out, and you can add as many extra points as you want. Okay, well, that's obviously not very nice now, so I'm just going to move it in. Now, one thing you might find is that you're not being able to move it pixel by pixel, so you might need to go on to View and make sure that Snap to Grid isn't selected. Okay, so make sure that's not selected and that you haven't got Snap to Guides. So you might need to check that in the View menu. Right, okay, what I'm now going to do, I'm just going to zoom out so I can see what I've cut, and I'm going to do a fill. So I'm going to select solid fill. I'm going to pick that same horrible colour, and you'll see that I've like masked, I've obliterated. Now I can't see exactly what I've got under me, so I'm going to alter the transparency of this now, and you can see that, yeah, there it is, and that's what I'm going to cut out. Right, so I've got my path where I want it. That's covering up. This is the part that I am going to cut and keep. The rest of the image is going to get thrown away. So to do this, I select the path I've just made. You can see in the layer window, path. I'm going to say cut, Control X. Then I'm going to select my image, make sure the bitmap's highlighted there. Then I'm going to go up to the edit menu and I'm going to say paste as mask. And you'll see that I've now got just my picture. Now, that's not really strictly true. What I've actually got is the rest of the picture's not visible. So what I need to do is I need to go to Modify, Canvas, and say Trim Canvas. And what that does is that makes the picture the same size as the bit that I've now cut out. Okay, now what I can now do is I can copy that. So I select it, make sure it's selected over here, and you'll see that you've got a mask and you get this funny link thing. Keep that. So copy, and then I can paste it into my poster. Now my poster's at different dots per inch. Okay, so I'm going to try don't resample. So I've just left it the size it is. Let me undo that and paste it in with resampling. And you'll see it's made it massive because my picture is a much higher resolution. I think it was an 8 megapixel picture, so it's miles higher resolution. So I don't want that, but you've only got to do undo. Don't panic. So I need to say don't resample. So I'm going to make my box game look like this. Right, I'm going to go and get my other image. Obviously don't save that now, because if I save that, that will destroy my original photo. You could save it as something else. Right, so I'm going to cut this out. This little guy from the artwork that Bob Wakeling did for New Zealand Story on home computers. Right, in this one we've got a nice curve here, and that'll be a bit of a pain to do the polygon, but we can just create a outline polygon first. So I'm going for this one, so just like I did before, I've got the same colour sizes. Let me make it transparent fill. So I've got fat brush in green so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm just clicking. If you accidentally hold your finger down, you'll get one of these, a bendy arrow. Now I'm not going to show you how to use that. There are tutorials that show you how to use it. If you do it by accident, do undo. You're just single clicking. Like I say, you can spend as much time as you want doing this. So I've got a couple of tricky bits because he's got this hand here. Hands are always tricky. Okay, keep going. Right, I've got this nice curve, but I'm going to show you another technique, so I'm just going to ignore that and I'm going to do it a different way, the curve. So I'm going to carry on. So I've cut that bit, just skipped it. In fact, I'll do it on that one as well, so I'll get that nice curve. So I'm just going to go on there. What I'll do is I'm going to use some shapes to make a composite path, like you've done for your logos, where you just pick loads of shapes, line them up to get the shapes that you want, and you join them all together and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. And I could do this for various parts. I just want to give you a few techniques, and then you implement the techniques how you want. Nearly done. I think there's a slight bend. Close the loop again. Okay, so let's put the fill back on that, just so we can see what that looks like, and let's change the transparency so we can see the image through. Right, let's get these two curves. So I'm going to use the path tools with the shapes, and I'm going to use the ellipse tool. So I'm going to draw an ellipse. Quite tricky to draw ellipses. That looks moderately. Let me change the transparency on that. Moderately in the right position. No, needs to be a bit taller. Whoops. So click on the old. Oh, keep clicking me mouse. Right, click on the ellipse. Use the resize tool. Let's just take that up a little bit. Using the cursor keys, move that across. Right, so that's going to get that bit of belly. Let's draw another one to get this foot, which is about that shape, but we're going to need to rotate that. So again, using the transform tool, make it a bit transparent so we can see through it. Try and move him over the shoot. Needs to rotate a little bit more. And I need to move it. So I've got his foot. Probably just need to scale it back a bit on this edge. But I could do this using lots and lots and lots of shapes. Right, you know that if you select these three things, now I'm going to use the layer window to select these, so if we do shift we can select multiple items, and then what we can do is say modify, combine paths, and we want to union them so we get one shape, and you can see that now I've got one shape. Okay, so that's one way of getting shape in, but it'll do for what I'm trying to demonstrate. So again, I've got my path. I'm going to do cut, Control X. I'm going to select my bitmap, and I'm then going to say edit, paste as mask. And again, I get just the character. Okay, but I need to trim the canvas. So let's go modify canvas, trim canvas. Okay, then I'm going to take my cat, copy it, put it into my poster. Again, I'll try don't resample. Yeah, that's about the size. And now you can see what I'm trying to do here. So I'm joining these two bits together, and I might put another one over on the other hand. So I'm going to paste it in again. Oh no, it ruins my face. I won't do that then. But I've got a nice paste. Now it looks a bit cack, or to be fair, it is very cack. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another mask to make these shapes a bit more rounded. Okay, so I'm going to use the rounded rectangle tool. My fill style is still the same. Let's just do the transparency so I can see what we're masking out. I'm going to change the colour actually to blue. I'm going to get rid of the border colour by selecting transparent. Right, so what I can do with this is I can select my image and I can use that as a mask against the other two. Okay, now if I try and do just Control X to cut it and then do Shift to select those two, I don't think that works. Look, it doesn't let me do it. You can only do it on single objects. So what we must do is, if we want to use the mask on two objects, we must group them first. Then we should be able to select it, and it should give us the paste as mask option. And there you go, it's cropped it, and we got the nice curved parts. Now, obviously, what we can now do is we could put nice, if you was to spend a bit of time, we could draw equivalent circles, or you could use your other tools to make like border shapes and things, like you did when you did your logos. Now I want that behind, so I'm just going to move that down, and you can see that what we've ended up with. It'd be nice if it was the same size. I could have planned that better. In fact, I can probably ask for the size. So that was 206 by 226. So let's select the rounded rectangle. So 2006 2026. Okay, so that's the same. It's not the same size, I reckon. 206 226 2026. Oh well, I could have planned it better and got that size better. Okay. So I've got this crop bit, but what I might want to do, instead of having that cropped like that, I might want to put the cat thing over the top of the border. So let's just undo what we've done. So if you've done something you don't like, just keep undoing until you get back. So there you go, we got back to the rounded rectangle. So I'm going to duplicate that rectangle. So I've got another one. I'm just going to leave it down here out of my way. Don't know what it's doing now. There you go, it's out of my way. Right, and I'm gonna move the cat out of the way. I'm just going to move him over there. Right, so I'm going to crop me. I'm just going to move that rectangle up because I want to get a nice crop on that bottom bit. Right, so I'm going to say I want to use it as a mask. So I'm going to cut it, select what I want to mask, and then I'm going to say edit, paste as mask. Yes. Oh. That's interesting. Let's try that again. Paste as mask. I want to add to it. No. It's gone a bit haywire. Hang on a sec. Let me just pause. Right, okay, it would appear that if you've got a mask, which this cut out of me is already a mask, and we try and add another mask, it doesn't like it. It doesn't mind if they're grouped, which is why we never saw it when we had the cat there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trick it by creating a rectangle that I'm not even interested in, but I'm just going to make sure it's transparent so you can see the handles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that, but I'm going to hold down shift and select the picture of me as well, and I'm going to group them. Then when I apply the mask, it doesn't moan, so you can trick it. Okay, so we tricked it a little bit there, which is good. Right, so I've got my rectangle which is in my background. And I want the cat there, who seems to be behind it. I'm going to put that. Move that down. And then I've got my cat. Now my cat I want in front of me. So you might have to reorder things to get the effect you want. Okay, right. The only thing I'll add to me is my logo. It's not the world's greatest bit of art. And if I was in a shop and I saw that as my artwork for my poster, I wouldn't bother. Okay, but you can play around with it. So the masking allows you to do, and you can mask to any shape. Okay, as we've demonstrated that when we cut these out, we was making funny shapes. And then you can do fills and effects. So one thing you might want to do is a bit of drop shadow. So let me just move this blue rectangle out of the way just to show you how you do that. So you can do select an item, and if you go down to filters, you can say drop shadow. Now you can't see much there, but if you make it bigger, you'll see that you get drop shadow effect. And you can change the colour of that and the angle it's facing. And I can do the same with me. I'm going to put some glow on this one, on me. Let's make it quite wide. And you can do things like that. Now we're only at 16%, so if we zoom in, you'll see what the effect of this is. Okay, so you can see that now. And that's your poster design. I expect you to do slightly better than that because it looks a little bit poor. But plan what you want to do. The tools are there to help you. Okay. End of.